flex, less I'm sick like her. I don't flex, I don't flex, I don't flex, I'm sick like her. I don't flex, I don't flex, I don't flex, I'm sick like her, flex like her, flex, I'm sick like her, flex like her, flex, I'm sick like her.
Oh wow, this just happened. I'm at the welcome to the Enrico Martini show. Did I really screw it up? But let's say it again. Enrico Martini show, 27th of October, 27th episode. And it's not Tuesday, it's not Wednesday. This time it's Friday, 7 p.m. And I have two American guests I'm really proud to introduce to you. And the song you just heard is from my friend of Dresden, Fazmi. You should follow him on every social media stuff and download his music, okay? Buy it. So let's jump into today's show, and I will just try to figure out my new setup. I'm sitting here in a professional musician producer studio, and I have no idea how everything works. I have that microphone here which turns off like frequently, so that's why I told the guys to let me know to clap hands whenever it turns off. But maybe it's a special setting that the microphone can't stand my voice anymore. So I will finally introduce my two guests today. First, I will start with Callahan. He's now in the big picture. Hello, Kyle. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So you are today my guest in the open forum with another guest. This is he just switched the background again. Look at this guy. This is my friend Adam Carter. Nice to see you.
Hi. Thanks for having me on, Enrico.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to get talking to this, and thanks for having me on, man. Excited.
Nice to see you. This is not your actual background. Where are you sitting right now? At this,
I'm currently in San Diego, California. The background is just make everything look nice and fun and clean, but I'm not in New York City right now. I'm in San Diego, California, in America.
Nice to have you, Adam. And you're probably wondering why I have like another screen of mine. I just want to show you how the Enrico Martini show developed. This was the old screen, okay? My MacBook like 15 years ago or something. That camera, we will say goodbye to this, and I will just turn it off. And that's the new style of the Enrico Martini show, okay? Thanks for tuning in, and we will jump right into the topic. We will go back to Adam. Adam is a man I got to know in my Prague experience. He's like a really hungry, passionate guy in the American football. I couldn't believe that what team he has been part of already. He will say that by himself in a little bit, and he also is that fanatic about the sport that he invented their own statistic. But we will talk about it today. That's impact percentage, and I will hand over the word to Adam. What did you do before you met Enrico Martini?
So before I met Enrico Martini, I was a offensive quality control coach for the Fordham University Rams. They're a team here in America. I worked there. Lucky for me, we actually had the best offense in the entire FCS last season. We averaged 49.5 points per game, and we averaged over 600 yards per game. Previous to that, I was a recruiting assistant for the Syracuse Orange, which are a D1 ACC team, again, here in the States. And then I've also worked as a training camp intern for the Houston Texans briefly, and yeah, I mean, I've gotten experience in this thing for a long time, and I'm still very young. I'm only 23 years old, but yeah, I'm here today to just talk about the stat. I don't know if you wanted to, you know, dive into that now, but I mean, I'm ready to talk
No,
about it.
let's wait for this a little bit because
All right.
most of the guys are probably familiar with KC because they're following me, know my Raiders background, and this is some. It's. I have to switch to my picture back again, real quick, because this is not that traditional for the Enrico Martini show. Normally, I have like, let's call it strangers, people I don't really know that well, and I invite them into my show, and we will have like a blind date and get to know each other. Today, there's a different kind of style since Adam Carter, we shared a flat for 1 month. And there's a different person, this KC guy, I know for over a decade. And we played together, we have been on the field, and I'm really proud to have Kyle here today. And he's the expert of today's show, and we will kind of talk about what Adam just made up in his mind, and I'm really happy to have you. So, hi, Kyle.
Hey, no, I'm glad to be here. I was really interested in the statistic that Adam was coming up with and how he goes about it. It's really something that is super intriguing to me, and it's definitely something that hasn't been tracked a lot. But it's just like it's a knack of what a coach has to kind of see it, But it's never been written down. It's never been followed. It's never been a statistic, and that would really help. I think the game, especially the coach, on where to put people, how to move them around, if they really are who they say they are or who the coach says they are. So for me, it was very interesting, and I'm ready to dive in this thing and try to get a little bit more information. Obviously, as a coach, as a guy that understands that it takes in football all 11, and everybody's got to do their job and everything like that. So I'm very interested, and I'm ready to ask a lot of questions.
That's so cool. Thank you, Kyle, for joining us. Let's jump back to Adam. Adam, please introduce everybody to what this is. Like, this is an article about football statistics. It's not about who made the most interceptions, quarterback sacks, tackles, receptions. I don't know. There's so many stats around we are following, and even us Europeans can understand it on fantasy football and stuff. But you just made up your mind to go a little deeper, to have like a really scientific approach, and just tell us what this impact percentage is about.
So I would say that in its most basic sense, impact percentage is a stat that calculates the percentage of times that a player puts himself in position to make a play on the ball. So that could be an interception, a tackle for loss, a sack, whatever it is. The point of the stat is that it's supposed to measure which players are impacting the game the most and which players are having the most on-ball impact. So anytime when you are, charting a stat and you see a guy gets a hurry or a guy is in tight downfield coverage and he's in a spot to, I don't know, break up the ball, get an interception, things like that. The point of the stat is to, reward those guys for their efforts, even though all the times that, even though that this stat may not always show up in the box score, the point of it is to just, reward players' process and everything up until the result of the actual play.
Okay. This we are talking English today. I'm sorry for switching around all these different layouts, but I have to try to figure out where we can all be in the picture. I didn't really manage it yet. I don't like that. Do you like this one? Is it good? I can switch Kyle over here. That's so funny. So many different things I can do here. That's probably not that bad. We are like discussing the stat of Adam, and it's Kyle and Anno. It's me, Enrico Martini show talking like for 10 minutes already. Nobody else was able to talk. That's part of the Enrico Martini show. Welcome. Okay. Kyle, you kind of experienced the knowledge of European fans of American football. They have a hard time still. Is the fourth down or the fifth down? And it's like they're just trying to figure out. Do you think that's something that's possible to digest for somebody over here? I'm giving my best. I was reading this article, and even though I'm a little bit into it, I had a hard time of understanding it. Kyle, let me know your first impression, and if you think a European can understand what we are talking about here right now.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're just an amateur sport watcher or a fan of American football, obviously this is going to be like another language to you, I believe. But if you're like a real diehard, understands the game, understands that, football is, it's a lot of moving pieces, and especially nowadays where there's so much technology and the game is so analytical, it's crazy that you can just digest all these numbers and percentages and all this whatever. Sometimes it's kind of like, okay, enough's enough, let's just go play football. But as a coach and you're trying to do a chess match and strategics and being a teacher and trying to put your guys in the best spot, you really look at things like this. And I think for guys that are heavily involved in the sport, this makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you summarize it, Kyle? What you just read in the article, what is it about? Is he going into the right direction, or just let me know, Kyle, if you read it.
Yeah, I mean, you have your raw data, right? You have, sacks, hurries, forced fumbles, tackles, interceptions, BPUs, all these things, right? But he's taken almost the whole majority of the raw data and seeing everything before that data happens, in my opinion. And that's kind of how I see it,
Yes.
You have 11 people trying to do their job, like on defense, you have to fill gaps, you have to beat gaps down, you have guys that play two gaps, you have guys that they got to play deep half, they got to play man-to-man on one side, the other side's got to play zone, and the ball's thrown. Well, why was that ball completed? Why was he hurried? Was it because they played a game, they had a stunt? Was it because they played the right coverage to, tendencies that the offense was showing? All these things are taken into account. And, if you have one guy that is kind of off his game, or off the call, or 2 seconds too late, or hesitates for a split second, you see that, and how this impact percentage can really now become raw data. And because before it was kind of, it's not raw data, right? It's kind of like, oh, well, why wasn't he in the right spot? Was it because he's just in a different universe? Is it because he's just too slow? Is it because he's thinking about too much? What is it? And I really believe that, finally it's taken another step of taking that raw data and not making it, just a, how do you say it?
I would
I don't know, but it's taking it and actually being able to grab hands on to that data.
And that's probably a really nice compliment for you, right, Adam? Because that's what you were aiming for. And you also had in that article like really famous players like Fred Warner and stuff, which play like really instinctively, and they surprisingly are at the correct spot every time. to make a play. And we had players like this, like Flipper, for example. Kyle and I played with together. We always had like players who made it like instinctively. So how this evaluation could make like a training practice approach, Adam, just let us know. This is like we took the raw material, evaluated differently, and now we try to make up a practice drill out of it. Let me know.
Yes, of course. So I mean, like, so this stat I think is just a better way than just looking at just pure tackles or just, you know, whatever the case may be, just pure box score stats. And so the reason why I say this stat is just different than all those is just because it doesn't always include half tackles or half sacks, because the point of it is to reward that player who was on time and brought that guy down, not the guy coming in late who then made that play. So I feel like it's just different than just looking at those stats. But I mean, you know, I also think too that this stat can also be like a team stat as a whole, because oftentimes when I was charting it, I would see that on really, really big plays, there was often no guys around the ball. It's either that back gets the ball, he runs right through the hole, no one's around him, and he just runs, you know, down the end zone, or you know, a case where a quarterback, you know, throws the ball long down the field. There's no one over there. The cornerback isn't there. Receiver makes the catch. Or it's a case where there are a lot of guys who are in that spot and they all just whiff. They all miss tackles. They'll get themselves in the right spot. So, I mean, I feel like this stat is just, as a whole, is just a good way for every coach to just measure impact on that side of the ball, whether that be offense, special teams, defense. Yes.
Yeah, you explaining this in your article, like this is like something really, really great tool for also for evaluating special teams, a really overlooked part of the game. I have a question to you. I just want a confirmation if I got it right when I was reading it. It's about getting yourself into the right position to make a play?
Yes.
Do you get rewarded even though you don't make the play?
Yes. So this is why I like this stat too, and I'm going to show you guys clips that explain this why. But the point of it is
just wait a second with the clips, because I just want to.
Okay.
Philosophy wise. I was having like head coaches like Shu and Fatah and stuff. And Kyle, what is your feeling if you hear that you get rewarded even though you didn't make the play? Isn't it normally the opposite? Like you're trying to say like, I don't have no clue how you made it, but you made the play and you're my guy. So
can I just chime in really, really quickly? Sorry, not to interrupt you, but so like the reason why it's like that is because I wanted to reward a player's process, the process, everything up until the result. So even though he might not have made that play, he might have, won his rep, on that play. He might have gotten himself in the right spot. He might have, chased down the guy, even though he missed that tackle. He chased him down. He showed that range and speed. He got there, but he didn't, make that play. But it's just to reward the process over the results. But yes, Kyle, sorry.
No, all good. I mean, and that's the thing too, right? I mean, football is, it takes 11 guys to do their job. And, if you're having, a trap play or a counter or whatever, and your job is to spill that thing or to wrong arm it so that it bounces it out to the outside backer or something like this, like that part of the impact percentage, then obviously you can really evaluate it more on, let's say, that edge player that made it bounce. That for me is the impact percentage more than it is, are they in the right spot to make a play? That's kind of how I thought about it and how I wanted to go about it. Was like, okay, the quarterback goes back to pass, is it an on-time throw? Is it a hurry? Well, was my corner in the right spot to make a breakup? Well, why was that? Was because he was hurried, or was he in the right time? In the right position to make that play, even if it was thrown on time. These parts of the impact percentage. When you can really digest and really single out everyone's performance and their efforts, and let's go back to that counter play where he's got to spill it. Well, did he wrong arm it, or are we playing wrong arm, or are we just playing hump where we got to just close that gap down? It all depends on scheme and what you want to do, but for me it was always like, is that guy doing his job? And
That's a good point, because I'm getting more and more the feeling I'm understanding what he was writing about. And is it kind of a level of how well you did your assignment, kind of?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. Because oftentimes players who do their assignments properly, oftentimes find themselves around the ball more often. So I would say yes, absolutely.
That's cool. I'm falling more and more in love with it. And it's called impact percentage. I will switch our layout a little bit again, and I would like to ask Adam to show us some film and explain it, because
Yes.
this is not only a it's not only a podcast you can listen to when the microphone is working. It's also something you can rewatch on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. It's live everywhere. So, if you have the video on right now,
Yes.
our creator of the impact percentage, the name itself is great already, will show us some film to explain what this is all about. So,
All right, so I'm just gonna take you guys here through about I think it's 12 clips here. Enrico, Kyle, stop me at any time if you guys have any questions here. But I'm just gonna take you here to clip number 1. It's on display. I'm gonna pause it right here. See, obviously you have the running back in the backfield. The ball is gonna go to him here, and we're gonna see how it unfolds. Right there, I'm gonna pause it. The D tackle right here, won his rep, got himself in the right spot and made that tackle. The linebacker who was about 2 yards in front of the back would not get credit on this play, because as you guys can see here, let me just go back and rewind that here. You guys can see right here, this guy does not get himself in the right spot because he gets blocked out by the offensive lineman. And so the only person on this play who would get credit is the D tackle who made that play. And then as you guys can see right there, let me just go back for a second here towards the end. Number 12 there wouldn't get any credit at all, nor would the cornerback there, I believe that's who it was. He would not get credit on this play. Even though he was right there, they were both, around that ball. They would not get credit just because they didn't get themselves in the right spot in the right time.
go back to clip number 1 real quick. Just pause it. Kyle, that's something you was easy for you to follow, right? Can you try to, since you got to know a couple of Europeans and what he's talking about, and explain, like, he's talking about the linebackers, he's talking about defensive linemen on the left side, on the right side. Can you try to do it? Adam, can you go back to the
go back
to the clip 1?
Go back in there, all right?
Yeah. I just want Kyle to moderate it a little bit. Try.
All right.
Yeah, so you have your standard zone to the right, but everyone has their job, right? Defensive linemen are down there by the offensive line, down in the 3-point stance, down in a lower stance. Linebackers are right behind them. Your secondary is then, where number 12 is, and the safety at the top above the ref. But everyone, like, I was trying to ask Adam, well, not really ask, but kind of like how I thought about it was, and then he broke it down where he was saying 12 wouldn't get credit for it, even though 12 is more like a cutback player or, a boot player. and looking for play action. I would think. I mean, he's coming down to add himself into the box. I think a lot of it, in my opinion, has to do also with understanding the scheme of
Yes.
how the
Yes.
defense is playing it. But just watching the tape, I mean, if you don't know their scheme, obviously then it's a little bit misconstrued a little bit. I mean, it can be for leading or whatever you call it. But you can see the nose tackle, how, he sees automatically maybe he's a double teamer, or maybe he has to watch that thing once he sees the center get to the right a little bit and start washing that thing horizontally or laterally. And he's taught as a defensive lineman that he has to get outside shoulder, So for me, knowing the scheme, I would say 33, in my opinion, is part of that impact percentage. Like, did he do his job? The nose guard.
I actually like that.
And that's kind of how I went about it. But obviously, you have what you're really looking at and everything like this. Now, in my opinion, do I think that linebacker that got kicked in, and whoever that is, I guess number 40,
47
got kicked in by 57. Do I think that he should get under that and fill that gap, and that's why he shouldn't get impact percentage? Yes, right? Because now you have 12, because we had a blitz where he needs to get into that gap. 42, I guess that is. He's filling that backside gap, and then it's that weak side backer, and then you have 12 for cutback or anything cutting up. So maybe 47 is not getting any of that impact percentage. And then 12 is getting impact percentage because, he's the one that's really the cutback player, but he sees that thing burst and not get bounced out. And now he's really chasing it down to make a play. And that's kind of how I was looking at it. But I like the way that you were talking about it too, where it's really can just individualize as well. Yeah. But you can also individualize it in every position to see, did he do his job in that scheme of it?
I actually really, really like that idea. And the thing I will say is that I've thought about this stat for a long time, but I'm always open to new ideas and new suggestions with it because it is still very new and I am still sort of like weeding out, the do's and the don'ts. But I actually do like that idea that that this guy over here would end up getting credit on that play just because he did his assignment right. And so I actually like that idea.
But I also like the idea of, are they in the right spot? Yes. What puts them in the right spot? Maybe, the coach schemes it up to where, he's getting put in the right spot, So now it can be kind of, thrown back and forth with the percentage, but I like both ways.
Yeah, and so, sorry.
No, I'm just liking the whole podcast already because that's exactly what I was looking for, that we're having like a nice hour of American football talk. And this is something which is really entertaining to me, and I can learn a lot from you guys. And that's why I'm just listening right now. I don't need to do much, and I'm excited for clip 2 and stuff. How you just how you have a look on this, and I'm trying to follow you, just like probably our audience does as well.
I want to keep listening to Adam. I mean, I want to hear what he has to say about these clips, because for me, then I can start seeing it through your eyes as well.
Yes, of course. And then Kyle, I would also say, to answer your question, I would say that part of how you can say a guy is in the right spot or not, like part of it just depends on where the offense runs the ball or where they throw the ball. So, I mean, it can be sort of scheme, but I would say that, you're also kind of playing it by what the offense does and what they do and where the ball goes when they also snap it. But,
So you're basically dependent on the play your coach just called out, if this fits what, in general, what the opponent is doing, right?
I wouldn't say that you're always dependent on the play. just because I would say that there's some players who just naturally get around the ball more so than others. But I would say that you are partly dependent on that, and I'd say that you're also partly dependent on what your teammates do, what spots they're in, and what they find themselves in as well. But yes.
Okay, let's jump into clip 2, Adam. The stage is yours. Let's go.
All right, we have clip number 2 here. This is going to be another handoff here. This is just some college film from I think about 2 or 3 seasons ago. So I'm going to play it right here. Pause it right there. The linebacker right there, 47. He gets downhill right there. He would not be in the right spot just because, as you can see here. Let me go back here. Even though it may seem like this guy right there, even though it may seem like that guy was like very, very close to the ball, he was not in the proper spot because the offensive lineman made a good block on him. Therefore, he opened up the hole and he allowed the back get some space here. But then, as you can see, the safety comes up, makes the play, arm tackles in, and then the outside backer, I believe right here, wouldn't get any credit on the play just because, as you can see, he comes in right as the ball carrier is falling to the ground. That is not what I want impact to be, just because the safety came downhill, made the play on time. He wrapped him up, so he should be the guy on this play that gets full credit for that tackle. If this play were just to show up in a box score, this guy right there, he would also get credit for the half tackle, even though he was late and he got in there as the ball carrier was falling to the ground. Plays like this are why I like impact percentage more, and why I think that it is just an upgrade from just purely looking at just raw tackles. It's right there. I'm gonna play this clip one more time here from the start. Running back.
Can you stop it? Can you stop it when Trevor Lawrence is about to hand the ball off?
Right here.
Yeah, play like one. Yeah, right here.
That's it. All right.
Okay, so when we look at this, it's pretty much the same exact play, right? It's zone to the right, but now there's no stunt, there's no blitz. Blitz is where a safety would come off the edge or blitz through the line of scrimmage, or the linebackers are blitzing through, like coming up on the line of scrimmage. But you see everyone taking their read step. You see everybody moving, reading their keys. For me, I think 47 is a bit too out of control. Like he can really be a little bit more under control. But I mean, if you really go down, like if I was a coach and, I'm not a defensive guru. I'm an offensive guy, but I can see run fits and understand run fits, right? But you can see that everyone has their gap. Everyone has their gap. Again, you have 12 being that cutback player, that boot player, that whatever you want to be player, RPO, and I don't know. It's hard for me to say that 47 shouldn't get any of that impact percentage, or even anybody on that line of scrimmage, right? And that's kind of what we were talking about. But I really like that too. 12 should get all the credit here, right? Because he's in the right spot. He's filling that gap that he needs to. He has cutback lane, just like on the one before we watched on clip 1. But he then went all the way across the formation and made the play, because of what happened with that backer. And now you see how when you fill the gaps that need to be filled and really determine where that ball's got to hit, then it opens up and lets the guy have more of an impact, if that makes sense. And that's what I really like about it too. If I know it's a lot of work and it would be a lot of work, but but saying like 47 should get maybe a little bit of that percentage, even that nose, even 3, even the guy setting edge that's coming off the edge here onto the right side of our screen to the play side. setting the edge, making sure everything cuts it back to this
Yes.
unblocked player. Um, that's also something that's super
Yes.
interesting, and that's kind of how I look at it as well. But
Absolutely.
definitely agree, 12 gets all the percentage
Yes.
here.
But
So
it's
yeah.
really nice that you talked about it, guys, because I was also thinking about gap responsibilities and stuff, and I thought like 47 did a really good job and playing his gap. Little over motivated. He could have gone a little bigger in the gap and
Yeah.
shouldn't be washed that fastly. So the safety has such a big gap to cover, and but I'm starting more and more to understand what's the impact score about. This is going to be like really challenging. Just like Kai said, like he should get it like partly a little bit. Is it realistic to bring it on paper as
Yeah.
a number?
So what I was gonna say is that so yes, I think it is realistic. I think so. I've just thought about this for a while now, but it's like so I created impact to measure your on ball impact, but at the same time, I don't want the things that you do off the ball to be forgotten as well. And so like I was actually I was actually thinking if there was a way to be able to just properly quantify your off ball impact so that you can measure guys like him who perfectly play their gaps. But it's just I don't know, it just makes for a really interesting thought. But I created impact just because I wanted to be able to credit guys like this who made the play, came across the field, made that play, yet are only rewarded a half tackle, which I think is completely unfair, and I don't think does a proper job of of properly measuring who was actually in on that play. And so, you know, it's absolutely a stat. I wouldn't say that it's not perfect yet. I'm still working out some kinks, obviously, as you guys see. But you know, I think that just like Kyle's, is saying, the off-ball impact stuff in terms of fitting your gaps the right way, things like that shouldn't be lost. But for the idea that I had for Swole or for impact, I had it more so to measure your on-ball impact. But I'm absolutely willing to listen more if Kyle wants to speak on it some more. But just the way that players measure the ball or the way that players impact the game away from the ball.
Kyle, do you want to go again? Because I had something I think that was really funny that he kind of made a little mistake calling it Swarm again.
Yeah,
Swarm
yeah.
percentage. This was
Yeah.
the initial name on this article. And I was understanding Swarm all like I was drilled to swarm to the football as a defensive player. So I was thinking in the beginning, before I was reading it, this is something, a measurement of how fast you can go, you can get to the ball and bring yourself into position close to the ball. It's about a correlation of the distance you're away and which path you're taking. This was my first idea of how Swarm is measuring, but now it's called impact percentage, and it makes sense, yeah? Did you also think about it? What
Yeah,
is
I
your-
mean, when I saw swarm percentage, that's kind of like what I initially thought, and then obviously I read the article and it started to make more sense. I really love the idea. I mean, I really, really like it. I mean, it, it brings a lot more analytics to the game, um, and I also like I'm not trying to like say this is what it should be, right? But
Yeah, of course.
when I hear that, and when a guy is in position to make a play, well, why was he in position? It's
Yeah.
like, well, it's because my teammates did their job and put me in the best position to make the play. But um, but obviously I like that way too. Like you shouldn't credit a guy for a half tackle just because he dove on the pile. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go to clip 3.
Clip 3. I'm actually okay. So this is actually clip 3. I think is a good example of why you can't just say, oh, this guy was around the ball. So yeah, I mean, so that should count, right? Well, we're gonna see here why I don't think that should count. So this is from the exact same game here. It is going to be a quarterback keep. He's going to sprint out to the edge here. You guys can see right here. Number 10 contacts him, force him to spin off. Despite missing that tackle, he would get credit on that play because he was in the right spot. And then you guys see here, number 7 as well would get credit on that play. Number 47 would not get credit on this play, even though it seemed like he was right there, right? I mean,
why wouldn't he get credit? Because he was the only guy who made him like misdirection. He was standing in his way. That's why. Yeah,
you see right here.
I didn't know about. Okay,
so right here. Yeah.
10 makes him spin out.
Yeah,
but
10
then
makes
the next obstacle is 47, right?
No, you guys are gonna see right here. So spins out right here. This guy overruns it because the quarterback spins out. This guy overplays it, which actually causes that hole to be open and allows him to get the first down. And then see, as you can see here, the quarterback spins out. He's not in the right spot. The linebacker here, number 7, ends up making the play. This guy dives on top of him as it's done. He would not get credit on this play. Although maybe you guys think he should, but I mean, when I showed it in real time, it looked like he was right there, right? Like he was there, he's in the area. But when you actually slow it down and break it down like I'm doing here, you'll see, once again, big sprint up. 10, he's right there. He'll get credit despite missing that play. He was one of the only 2 people on this play who was quote unquote around, that ball, who made it, an impact on that play. So you see right here, the spin out, boom. This guy overruns it, overplays it slightly. I think this guy, number 47, I think he thought the quarterback was about to pitch the ball here, which I think is why he overruns it so much. And then you can see here, number 7 comes in, drops him up. Even though this guy had almost got a hand on him, jumps on him late, he would not get credit on this play.
No, I get it. 47 was like really close to the ball,
Yeah,
but he never
really
made
close.
like a serious. He probably had the pitch guy. He was really overplaying it, and he never was a real obstacle for the ball carrier. No, I understood it now. Kai, what do you think about the play?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably short distance, short down, quarterback sneak. By quarterback sneak, everyone's just trying to wedge together. That way he can move forward, but he saw a light edge, so he's moving his way to the edge. And then you see 10 and 47 have to scrape over and kind of squeeze that gap down. Well, 10 does a good job to keep it inside, and then 47 puts himself out of position because he don't squeeze down that space, that gap. And obviously 10 and 7 should be credited. But you also have other big boys in there that should be credited too, where they're not getting that crazy push, like the nose. But yeah, I mean, 47 just plays himself out of position and they're able to make a play.
Right,
when you talk about quarterback sneak, you always say take on half a man, because no quarterback's going to take on a linebacker like that.
Absolutely. So I'm going to show you guys here another clip. Clip number 4 here. Pause right here. This is from 2021, I believe. This is Bryce Young right here. The back next to him is Jahmyr Gibbs. This is actually, I believe, going to be a passing play here. I'll show you guys what a passing play looks like. Passing plays actually, we'll say, are much, much easier to just chart and look at. So here we go here. Bryce Young motions the guy out. He takes a snap. And pause right there. No one's in on him. D linemen haven't won the reps yet, haven't gotten home yet. So, none of them would get credit on the play. Quarterback throws it. Cornerback is not in tight enough coverage to get a play on the ball here. The receiver catches it here. He would get credit right there because he tackles him. And then this guy right here would also get credit on the play because he comes in. Everybody else after this, because the play's pretty much stopped now, everyone else who comes in late would not get credit on that play. They're all late. They did not have an impact on this play. The only two who would, I'm going to play this through one more time here. The only two that would are the cornerback here, this guy, and then number 13, as you can see here. Guys, they have them all wrapped up here. The Barker wrapped up. And I believe the ref stopped it right about here. So, so the play's dead right there. And then all these guys coming late. None of these guys matter. So you guys had any questions there?
And Adam, this is why I love the name change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're wrapped up, and then you see everyone else swarming to the football.
Yeah.
That's for me swarming, and I really like the impact percentage, the name change.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Let's go back to the quarterback or to the defensive back, the nickel, whoever is covering the guy in the first place. He's not tight enough, so we're talking about pass coverage now, so I can finally join the conversation. He's not close enough. Is there? I just read something in the article about the whiff, that somebody is doing his assignment like not good.
Yes.
Is this like possible to evaluate it in this play for the defender, the cover guy?
So on this play, this would not go down as a whiff. The guy was not in position. I'm actually going to show you guys later on what a whiff looks like, but this play would not count. But I'm actually going to expand on that really quickly. So a whiff is kind of just a stat that I played off of impact. So basically, it's just the percentage of times where you're in position to make a play on the ball and you don't. So and then off that, I have another stat which I called DER, which stands for defensive efficiency rating, which is just impact divided by whip. And the point of that is basically just to measure how efficient you are with the opportunities that you have been given in the game. And so those are two stats that I sort of play off of impact. But DER is actually a stat that I haven't talked about yet today, but I actually like it a little bit more than just impact, just because I think it does a better job of kind of just, grading a player in that sense. Just because when you look at your whiff percentage, whiff takes into account the result of that play. Impact percentage takes into account the process of that play. So basically, when it's basically just the process of a play divided by the
outcome.
Yeah. Yes, the outcome of that play. So I know I got a little bit long-winded there, but no, this would not count as a whiff. But those are just two things that I wanted to talk about really quickly as well. But so DER is basically just a play off of those two that I think is a stat that gives you a broader sense of how a player impacts a game. So
I think a coach would love the DER. You don't need to give him impact. You don't need to give him whiff. He wants to know what the DER is of that player.
Yes.
And that is the raw data that you can grab onto and really determine. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, because DER, like I said, it takes into account, the actual whiff, and what actually happened on that play. So yes, I like it. But I'm going to show you guys here another clip here after this. This one was here was pretty easy to look at here. I'm sure you guys here clip number 5. And so this stat right here, this stat is or this play is why I love this stat so much. You guys are going to see it right here. This is a perfect way, I think, to just quantify impact on the game, impact on the ball, because what 23 does on this play, I believe, is such a smart play. And as you can see here, Bryce Young here takes a snap, scrambles. He's about to move up. The linebacker gets himself in the right spot, gets himself there, gets his hand in the face of that quarterback, disrupts that throw, causes an interception. that play from number 23 would not show up in the box score as anything. That is a winning play right there. That is a winning impact play that caused it an interception. If this guy was not there, Young, that's an easy throw. It's, it's just easy throw, touchdown, Alabama's up. But right here, this guy is instinctive enough. He runs right there, he gets his hands up, which is perfect. Gets his hands up, disrupts that lane, and causes the quarterback to throw a pick. Plays like this are just why I created this stat.
Totally agreed. This is
right here.
Great
that is
impact play.
Winning play right there. That is a winning play. I'm gonna play it through.
No, it's an impact
one
play.
more time. Oh yeah.
It's an impact play. That's
impact play. Impact play. There we go.
Oh, it's really cool how he adjusts and keeps leverage all the time. And I was wondering if it's a good idea to bring up his hands instead of tackling the quarterback, but he will probably not. The quarterback will get rid of the football anyhow, and by bringing up the arms, he kind of disrupts the pass a little bit, or the clean throwing motion.
Yes.
Yeah, that's impact play.
Now I got a question. Now with that, 23 made this play, right?
Yes.
And the guy that had the interception, would he get any of that percentage?
Yes, of course, because he gets an interception. Right. That is by itself a play on the ball. So yes, he would get credit on this play.
Just because of where the ball fell, right? I mean,
yes.
As you play it, if he wasn't getting his hands up like this, maybe Bryce Young, knowing what he does, the receiver has, a nice little step on him. If the ball's thrown in front of him, right, it could have been a touchdown, right?
Yes, of course.
So that is what I'm thinking is like, but 23's percentage obviously in this play would be a lot higher than the guy that got the interception, correct?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
All right. And then Enrico, I have to run in about 5 minutes here. It's 10:52 here, but I'm gonna show you guys one more clip here.
Perfect.
Give me a second here. Let me see which clip. Hold on a second. I need to
choose the best one.
Yes, I'm gonna choose the best one right here. Because this. All right, just give me a second here, guys. My coach here is texting me. Give me a second.
That's what it's all about. The Enrico Martini show live, and for everybody to the audience, like Adam, it's like on a regular working day. What time is it at your place? Like 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Yes, 11 a.m. Yeah.
So he needs to get on the practice field today, still, and he needs to leave us in about 3 minutes. So I'm saying thank you to you already, Adam. This was really nice. You just sent me the article and some video clips and asked me if I can share it with some coaching friends of mine.
Yes.
So we did, and this kind of not ended up, but kind of mid-stage made it into this podcast. Thank you, Adam. Whenever.
Thank you.
One more clip, and then you leave.
Yep, one more clip. All right, I'm just going to speed run through this clip really quickly here. So this is why, this clip here, quarterback gets a snap here. Just pay attention to the bottom of the screen. Cornerback is in good spot. He's in tight enough coverage where, he's in a spot to make this throw significantly more difficult than it is. So as you guys can see here, despite that, the ball gets caught. Even though that ball gets caught, he would get credit on this play because he was in the right spot. He got his hands up. He was in tight enough coverage to make that throw hard.
He got mossed.
Yeah, he got mossed, but still, he was in the right spot. This play, and so this is why impact and then DER are two completely different stats. Because on DER, that would go against you because this would count down as a whiff. Because this is a play on the ball. He was in the right spot, but he didn't make the play. So this is just a good example. Yes.
And that's something you can work on in practice. That's something which would have never been statistically caught up.
Yes.
And that's something you can take. Yeah.
Yes. Because also too, if you're just looking at a game, this play would go against the, this play would go against that man because if you just go back here and look at it, this would go against the cornerback as a 19-yard catch, and it would go against him that he gave up a catch and a touchdown.
And a
Despite
flag.
that, yes, and a flag. Despite that, he's in the right spot. The receiver just makes an incredible play. That's a difficult throw too. And the reason why that's a hard throw is because the cornerback made that a hard throw because of his coverage down the field. But I have to run here, guys. I'm sorry for the abrupt ending here, but I have to run. Enrico, thank you for having me on today. It was a pleasure. Kyle, it was nice to speak with you.
Thank
Once
you,
again, I'm
Adam.
sorry about just how quickly here I have to go, but yeah, it was great.
It's
I'm glad
awesome.
you guys, yeah,
I'm
glad you
super
guys enjoyed
excited
it.
about it. Keep up the good work.
Yeah,
Thank
keep
you.
it
Thank
up.
you, guys.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
See you,
Thank
buddy.
you. All right, guys.
So Adam is out, but that doesn't mean we are not continuing the podcast. I will enjoy to talk a little bit. So this makes the impression I'm looking to you guys. No, I will use that moment to talk to you a little bit because
Yeah.
this last play kind of reminded me a game I guess you have watched. There's like final European Championship game this upcoming Saturday. Are you going to it?
No, I'm gonna watch it live on TV.
Okay. So um, I also I, let me summarize it. I also received. I was playing cornerback in that game, and I was on Lourinho since our premium um, defensive back like Lenny Green got injured on the first.
Or his hammy up or something, didn't
Yeah, on
he?
the
Yeah.
first kickoff of the game, he went out, and I needed to jump in on the top receiver of Austria, Lourinho Weich, and I was covering like him really well since he was averaging like 10 catches and about 2-3 touchdowns every game in the games before, and in this game he only had like 3 catches, 1 touchdown, which was a play like this where he has like
Yeah.
perfect chemistry with Chris Gross. Even though I was in good position, he caught that back shoulder fade, but it,
So you get impact percentage plus whiff, and then your DER is not looking good.
so
But your impact percentage would have been super nice in that game. You played very well.
that this
I
many
think that was the game of your career,
yeah.
and it
That was.
was awesome to watch.
What do you think about the upcoming Saturday? Is Austria going to win?
They're tough. They got a tough team, man. They're gonna be good. They got speed. They got power. They can run the football. They picked up some guys that were, they picked up the guy from the CFL. Um,
Um,
so we'll
uh,
see. I mean, but their running backs are, I mean, for me, the best in Europe. They got receivers that are top in Europe, in my opinion. They got a nice quarterback. They got a great offensive line. Their defensive backs are crazy. Linebackers, I mean, they're stacked, in my opinion. Austria is stacked.
I'm not going to go to the stadium to watch it. It's not that close to my home anymore. I guess it's happening in St. Pölten, right?
Yeah.
We played many times there together.
Yes.
Good memories. This was kind of Enrico Martini show, 1 hour of American football talk. I had like 2 really cool guests, like Callahan, my old friend and forever friend. Thank you for joining us. And we had Adam, which was like really, just like I talked. He was like really excited about spreading his message, and I think he really enjoyed the way you appreciated it and empowered him to following his ideas. And this is something which I've never experienced somewhere else than in American football atmosphere. Like the true, you didn't know him. We came together because of the passion for this game. We talked football for 1 hour, and we know each other now and love each other. That's what American football is about, and that's why I will never get out of this sport and try to be a part of it forever. So,
Never.
Guy, I'm really excited how our way continues, and yes, I'm also happy to be in the same city like you and see you more frequently. To all
Yeah, that's
audience,
nice.
I was here in Innsbruck for 2 days, and I met him at the Hofer at the Aldi. So isn't it funny? I'm back in Tyrol. My old friend Kyle is also here, and I'm really excited for the future. How where
Me
we
too.
put our footstep, and Adam's plan is to do it in the statistical world. It was like a really nice hour. So Kyle, you want to say something more, and I will turn it off. I will play that intro outro again in the end, and I say thank you to everybody, and we will have to do it with that nice studio here. I'm in. We will have to do it more often again. Enrico Martini show. Just stay um, updated via social media, Instagram. Kyle, word is on you.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. It was a blast. It was a very interesting way, to really look at things, and obviously things that, you know, can't be put into raw data. And I think he's on to something. He's on to the right track. Um, and I really appreciate Adam for his hard work and what he does, and to grow the game and keep the game growing. Obviously, how we are now, everything is analytical, and you want all the numbers that you can have, and everything like that. So, hats off to Adam. Keep doing your thing. Thank you, Enrico, for having me, and let's have a great evening.
You too. Thank you, Kyle. Intro, outro. Ciao, Kakao, wie Paul das immer sagt. Bye, bye.
Flex, less I'm sick like her.